Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Cody Sperber, the Clever Investor here, and in this video, I have something truly special lined up for you guys today. Now, this is going to be an interview with a powerful young entrepreneur named Caleb Maddix. Now, I met Caleb at an event I was speaking at a few weeks ago, and he really impressed me, so I invited him over to my house to interview him because the movement he's creating, the information that he shares in this interview is so powerful, so crazy that my dog actually did this in the middle of the interview. And the interview was so much fun. I cannot wait to share it with you. So let's get into that. And before we do, real fast, make sure you turn on post notifications. I am giving away those Amazon gift cards. Here's last video's winner. His name is Kyle. He's also a young man. He got to the gift card code first, and he was able to go and spend the money. So if you want an opportunity to win, every time I post a video, I'm going to pin to the top of the comments the Amazon gift card code, and whoever has post notifications turned on will be able to get there first, and it's going to be anywhere from $30 up to $500. You won't know how much money you won until you go to spend the gift card code. With that said, I appreciate you for watching. You're going to love this interview. Let's dive right in. All right, guys, we are here with the great Caleb Maddix. What's going on, man? So good to have you over at Casa de la Sperber.
Hey,
you're here.
Good to be here. You had something. You said the great Caleb Maddix. I respect that.
I'm hooking you up. I'm teeing you up. So let's start at the beginning just to get everybody on the same page. So you're 17 years old now. You're already a book author. You're already a millionaire. Like, you're speaking on all these stages. Let's go back to that pivot point in your life, the beginning, the moment. And I think I saw one of your videos where you were kind of talking about this, and this is one of the ones that went super viral. Your dad was one of the most influential people in your life.
100%.
Correct?
No question.
He did something for you that set you off on this path. Talk about what he did for you.
No, for sure. You know, I tell this story a lot on stage as much as I can because this is really the pivot point for my life. This took me from being shy and insecure at the age of 7 years old to now being where I'm at. And, you know, every time I've shared it, people resonate with it immediately because the concept is so true. I believe that, you know, you do this with your kids as well. And I got to give you props. You know, this is our first time really getting to hang out in person. But, you know, the way that your kids are, like, you know, the energy, the respect, all that stuff, I absolutely love it. And what my dad did, you know, I was 7 years old and I went over to one of my friend's house. And we were sitting on a couch just like this. It was a red couch. We were playing video games because at the time, you know, anytime I was with my friends, we were playing video games. Anytime I was at home, I was playing video games. I had basically an addiction to video games. And it was at the place in my life where if someone kind of, you know, tried to come up and talk to me, I would immediately start crying. I don't care if they were waiter, waitress. I would want to hide behind my dad's shoulder. Like that's how much insecurity I had.
Which is so surprising because you're like a ball of freaking energy. Like you literally, I watched you at speak on the Build Your Empire stage. And I was kind of watching. I was like cheering you on, but like you were like owning the stage. Like you were killing it, like and just spitting fire. And to hear that you were insecure on any level, like I can't even imagine that.
And that's why it shocks people because, you know, they always say, well, easy for you, Caleb, that you're on stage. You know, you have so much confidence. And people don't realize I started at the very opposite of that. Like the worst, the most shy you can imagine. And the pivot point was whenever I was out at that friend's house. I was sitting, like I said, sitting on the red couch, and my friend's mom tapped him on the shoulder, interrupted us while we're playing our video games. And at first we were like, oh man, we're playing video. And then next you know, she pulled out a $20 bill. So we listened up. And she handed him a $20 bill, handed my friend a $20 bill. And I mean, at the age of 7, $20 is like $1 million now. Like that's a lot of money. So the first thing I asked him, I said, what did you do to make that $20? And he told me this amazing concept I'd never heard before, and it's chores. Like anytime he would, you know, anytime he would take out the trash, do the dishes, do the laundry, all that stuff, if he did it throughout the month, at the end of the month, he would get $20. So I immediately felt so angry with my dad because I was doing chores, I just wasn't getting paid for it. So the next thing I did, I saw my dad, you know, he picked me up, and I immediately, first thing in the car, you know, he could tell immediately I was like, there's like a little bit of anger, as much as a 7-year-old can have. I was like, Dad, my friends get paid to do chores, and I don't. I want to start getting paid to do chores. And he looked at me, and he said something to me that changed my life forever. And he said 2 letters, and that's N-O, no. He said, no, I'm not going to pay you to do chores. And at first I was so confused. I was like, like why? All my friends get paid to do it. He said, Caleb, that's not gonna be what you get paid for whenever you're older. You're not gonna get paid to take out the trash, do the dishes. That's just gonna be a part of your everyday life. So how about I pay you for what you are gonna get paid for, and that's what you know. So he started paying me $20 for every single business and success book that I would read and write a report on. So at the age of 7, the first book I picked up was Success Principles. I read the first chapter just about taking full responsibility. And at first I did it just because of the $20, and I wanted the $20. And then the concepts I started learning started changing my life. Because at the age of 7, I already knew, like, I was more shy than the rest of my friends. I knew that I had no different type of purpose. And it sounds crazy at the age of 7, but I didn't know, there was something missing. And these books started giving me these things that I knew if now I pick up this tactic, now that's going to make me go even further in life. And I started acquiring all these things, and now I get to live the life I live of going from shy to now having unstoppable confidence, being able to share the stage with some of the people I used to idolize, now speaking on stage in front of thousands of people, traveling, being able to share a message, doing videos, getting to impact people. It literally all started from that one moment of getting paid to read books and just being exposed to personal growth.
Right now, people are addicted to watching other people's walls on their Instagram, and they're seeing this life happening. And they are looking in the mirror at their life or around in their life, and they're feeling insignificant or something because they're not traveling the world and taking the perfect picture with the perfect sunset and have unstoppable confidence and all this stuff. What they fail to realize is that person took like 7,000 pictures to get the perfect lighting, and that it's like the grass isn't always greener on the other side. And I wanted people to realize, like, all of us, and I'm talking about every single successful person I've ever met, has that moment where on stage and you're crying.
Oh, no question.
You break down and you're like, wow. But you did what all successful people also do, in that you pushed yourself through it, you bounced back, and you kept moving forward.
And that's with social media, everyone sees, this is why I talk about it a lot, is they see the 20%. They see the 20% of people's lives that's glorious and fun and amazing and successful and cars and all this amazing stuff. But what they don't see is the 80% of their life of failure and hard times and disappointment, all these things that leaves that 20%. It's the same thing for me. Now people see this movement that we're building called Apex for Kids, where it's it's starting to blow up, and it's literally just 1/150th the way of where it's about to be. Like it's about to explode, no doubt. But like people see that, and they're going to see all these amazing things that we do, but they don't see that like I've tried this like once or twice before, and 2 times, and it failed. I tried it, and then this ended up happening, and this angle didn't work, and I tried this launch, and people always say it. So, same thing with you. They always see you on stage, or you in videos, or you in the ads with the spaceship, which I always see, right? They see that stuff, but they don't see the beginning stuff. They don't see that 20%, and that's where a lot of people go wrong. Or sorry, the 80%. That's where a lot of people go wrong, though, is there's this facade that's portrayed on social media, and that's why there's a lot of teenagers that are led into depression, because they're wondering, like, everyone's life is perfect. If my life isn't perfect, like, what's wrong with me? And it's a really deep, dark hole. What's up, Boomer? Bring Boomer on in here. Let's go.
He wants to get in on this.
Yes.
All right, you got to move. Move your butt. All right. So, he's the greatest dog ever.
Oh, he went ham now.
Done tacos.
What an interview. You don't get this every day. Let's go. see, everyone sees the 20% of interviews that are great. They don't see the 80%.
All right, we're back. A little Boomer intermission on that one. I want to keep talking about this amazing movement that you're starting to create. You said you turned your life around 180, and that was kind of like, I've heard you say that a couple times. Your hat says, 180. I like that concept of anybody being able to turn their life around, and I think a lot of people float through life, and one of 2 things happens. They either allow themselves to get labeled, and they use their bad past experiences or bad relationships and things that have happened in the past, or their environment that they grew up in, as a crutch as to why they never broke free and got to the next level of life. And there's other people that can use that as energy and momentum to 180 their life and keep moving forward. What are some things that, when you say 180, what are you trying to teach people? Like, what are the tactics and the strategies that you're really leaning in on, where you're like, hey, if you do this, and this, you're going to be able to 180 your life and really get going?
For sure. So 180 to me, and that's why I like wear it on my hat, it's a concept. it's my opinion why I'm here. Because you find a lot of people and they're very focused on income, which is massively important. Like it's the way that the world operates. You have to focus on that. But for me, the thing that's always been the thing that fuels me, the thing that moves me, the thing that like motivates me is its impact. It's impact over income, and that's focused on actually changing people's lives. Because a lot of people, they have either a 0-degree transformation, which is where the far majority of the world's at, and they're just floating. They're like the way I like to put it is they're like a plastic bag in the middle of a parking lot during a hurricane. They're all around, like they don't know what they're doing. And there's some people who have a 360-degree transformation. Every year they get excited, they get motivated. And then it's February, which we just got into, and guess what? They're right off the track. They had a 180 and then they 180 back. So for me, 180 is just a concept, and it's of having a 180-degree transformation and never looking back. That's it for me. And one of the things, because I'm so focused on impact, why, I think about this constantly. How can we 180 people? One of the things I found is the quickest way to do it is to not have to 180 people. Meaning a lot of times, there's all these great people. There's these gurus and speakers and, coaches and people who put out information products. And it's phenomenal because it rewires people's heads. It 180s their life, 180s their business or whatever it is. The new goal for me, because in the specific phase I'm at in my life is, what if instead of just rewiring people when they become adults, what if we can wire them right from the start? And that's one of the number one things with this whole Apex for Kids that we keep talking about. That's the motive for me is, what if we can teach kids the things at a young age? Because that's what it was for me. I didn't have to, if my dad would have just let me try to have a transformation when I was older, it would have been extremely hard. Because I would have immediately had the amount of insecurities I would have at that age, that would have compounded the amount of things I would have had to unlearn. Like, adults, they have to learn and then also unlearn the things they've learned in the past. So what I love about kids and what I love about young people is that I can just give them a concept, like your son, right? We show up and he immediately just rattles off something that he saw of mine.
No, whenever I'm around kids, like 9-year-olds, like my grade, not good rapport. When I'm around older people,
why is that?
I don't know. It's just
But if you did know, why would that be?
Dad always said, "Do you treat your teachers like this?" And I'm like, "No, no." And then he's like, "Why don't you treat them like me?" And I couldn't sleep that night. I was like, "You're right."
Why
the
do you
next
treat
day,
them?
I was amazing, and I got ice cream, and I was happy. So then I went to school, and I was like, I was just so focused on being nice to adults that I just forgot everything about being kind to kids.
And he remembers it because there's no past self-limiting beliefs. So for me, that's the new focus. Now the mission of my life will always be 180. 180ing people and then 180ing the world is the eventual goal. And I know the first step to doing that is go before they have to be 180'd, and that's focus on the kids.
I like it. You're swimming upstream and getting them while they're young and
Exactly.
really setting the foundation off strong. Okay, so how are you going to do that? What's the game plan? Through fun, engaging videos that
100%.
they can actually get through and watch, and where are you going to go with it?
So what I found is, there's already so much out there, so many principles, so many concepts that change people's lives. And there's things that, listen, I'm 17 years old. Like, as much as I like to say I know things, at the same time, there's people like you, Tony Robbins, whoever it is, that are so much wiser than I am, that are teaching concepts that already work. So my goal is not to reinvent the wheel, but it's to take these principles that these amazing people who have accomplished these amazing things and have gathered so much experience, take the principles they're teaching people and put it in a way for kids that's relatable, fun, powerful, and entertaining. So making it to where, these videos that we film for kids with an Apex for Kids, because when someone becomes a part of it, they get, hundreds and hundreds of videos for kids that are relatable and fun and teach them the important concepts. They also get all 9 of my books, which are geared towards kids. But it's just taking the principles that I learned throughout my journey from studying these people, taking the principles that you're sharing with people, and it's putting it in a way that has editing and it has celebrities involved and makes it fun and engaging for kids. Because, how can we expect, there's TV shows for adults, and then there's TV shows for kids. There's, foods for adults, and there's foods for kids. Yet we think that kids should just be able to watch someone who's 50 years old and resonate with them, but it's just not that way. We want to bring this relatability and entertainment, and that's what Apex for Kids is.
I love it. And I think it's more important now than ever. I printed some of these things out because I wanted your take on some of this stuff. And my daughter is 8, my son is 9, and they're both begging me for a cell phone right now. And I'm adamant, it's not happening. For 2 reasons. One, I know as an adult, especially nowadays with social media and just the things I've experienced, and I'm seeing you start to blow up your business and really brand yourself and come out of just being this like cute kid that can do some personal development to like you're evolving into like a businessman and an entrepreneur. And when you put yourself out there like that, and you do things like Facebook and YouTube ads and all that, the haters, they just come out of the woodwork, right? Yeah. Oh man, they love to sit behind their keyboard and tell you what they're thinking. And nowadays, there's so many different messaging platforms and things that give people immediate abilities to say whatever they're feeling, whether they
100%.
Understand the impact of it or not. They do it, and then they're on with their day, and they don't realize like this really can hurt some people. Your words have meaning, and like you can really screw some people's mindsets up. And I printed some of these off because I'm seeing this more and more now. This headline says, social media may play a role in rising teen suicides. Studies suggest. It said suicide rates in teens rose between 2010 and 2015 after nearly 2 decades of declining rates. I found that kind of crazy. They're calling it the plight of the screen. This is NBC News. Plight of the screenager. Is social media taking a deadly toll on teens? Here's another one. About a 15-year-old that committed suicide because of being bullied on social media and stuff. And like people were messengering her from school on Instagram and Kick and other platforms, like basically telling her, you suck, your life is worthless. This one says there's been a substantial increase in suicide rates in adolescents age 15 to 19. New analysis showed, anxiety rates at an all-time high. I mean, this is really happening right now. Mm-hmm. And one of the things I love most about what you're doing is you're trying to give people the confidence and the skills and the capabilities so that they can move forward in a life that's full of these kind of things and not go down the wrong path. What do you think about that?
First of all, it's very real stuff. We're not just talking about someone who they had a rough day because of a post. Like these are people who literally feel so much depression, so much anxiety, so much of these things. They feel so much hate from people that they're wanting to end their own lives. They feel like that's the only escape. And it's very real. I go to these schools, and sometimes it feels like when you're going to a school, you're going to like a prison in a way, if that makes any sense. Like I get up there, and there's so many walls that are built by kids. There's so much, because there's so much out there. Like, here's what I always think. How can we expect kids to have confidence, have all this stuff, with the way our system is set up, with the way that everything is? I mean, think about it this way. Like, in a way, when it comes to health, the world sets us up to almost be unhealthy. Every ad you see, everything, it's McDonald's, it's all this stuff. And then it's the exact same way when it comes to mindset. Not only are we feeding our kids unhealthy things physically, but also mentally. When you see what the concepts that are being shoved down people's throats, the things in movies, the things on social media, like this is the exact way you need to look, this is the exact way you need to be. And it goes back to what we just said before of everyone sees the 20%, even sometimes the 3 to 5% of people's lives are so perfect. And I've been with some of these influencers. I'll sit down with them and, they have millions of followers and they, are in front of all these people and they have just as much insecurities as other people, but their life is portrayed in a certain sense. So for me, it's very real, number one. When I see those numbers, it hurts me. It's not just something that, I'm like, oh wow, like, that's a problem. It's like it's a problem that I've taken upon myself to almost solve in a way. And that's what I want to do. Just like if you look at Google, okay, Google, whenever they wanted to create one of the world's largest companies, they knew they had to have the right team. In order to have the right team and have a team that produces, they wanted their team to be in the right environment. Right? That was one of them things. So they put colors and they put all these things in their offices, and they found if they have the right environment for their team's going to perform better. My eventual goal, and this is what we're working on with Apex, is to create a world that's almost like Google that sets people up to win. But if you go to the root, and I think about this deeply, what is it actually? Why are there kids committing suicide? Why is there bullying? People ask me all the time on stage, how do we end bullying? And my answer is always this: you can't end bullying. You can't end any of these things because you're just looking at the fruit of the problem. You're looking at what's happening. You're not looking at the actual root. You're not looking at the actual real problem. And what I found personally is the number one thing that's causing these things is insecurity. That if you look at it, you say, oh, no, it's not. It's the fact there's so many bullies. Well, think about it. First of all, why does someone bully? It's It's because of deep levels of insecurity. If someone's confident in themselves, as cliche as it sounds, they're not going to go out and have to post on social media some negative thing. Someone over a 50-year-old who comments some negative on my post, you know, they always say it, but it says way more about them than it does about me. They have that insecurity. But then you look at kids who bullying gets to them so bad, because it used to get to me. I mean, my parents got divorced whenever I was 4 years old. I was the shortest kid in my class. I had messed up teeth. I have braces to this day, right? Like, I was very insecure, and kids would pick on me for it. And at first, it crippled me. I would come home crying. Like, I would ask my dad, what do I do? I would try to approach teachers. There was never an answer, and I never did. Throughout my entire time of school, I never fixed the problem of bullies until I fixed the problem of my own insecurity. Until my dad started exposing me to these right principles, started teaching me these right things that instilled confidence in me. Until I started having belief in myself. Until, you know, luckily I was lucky enough to have parents that believed in me and told me they loved me. And the compound of all of these things finally getting a level of confidence. I mean, now if someone my age tells me that you're this way, that's not going to get to me, because all I'm thinking is, we'll see what you say in 10 years. Because it's confidence. So for me, what I am ferociously trying to instill in as many kids as possible with this program, Apex for Kids, and with this movement, which I respect the fact you said that, because that's more what it is giving kids unstoppable confidence. And I feel like if we can do that, so many of the problems we see, whatever it is as a parent you worry about, if your kids have an insane level of confidence, almost none of those things can happen. And I'm not going to say there's not going to be things that, like we said, we live in a world that people are going to make mistakes, but if people have confidence, that to me is the root issue. If we can instill that, if we can create a movement of 1 million kids who have confidence, I believe that creates a ripple effect that's going to influence not just this generation, but a tsunami effect of the next generations as well.
Boom. Boom.
Boom.
I like that. All right, so let me ask you some real deep questions. What's your dream car?
My dream car. I don't know. So I don't know anything about cars, and
What?
It literally blows people's mind. Like,
Yeah, that's
like
a lot, because a lot of young kids are like, oh, I gotta, get the Lamborghini or the Rolls Royce.
Yeah,
they all
yeah.
have like, kind of like the poster of the car that they
no,
want.
for sure. It motivates a lot of people, and
All right, so
I know
so,
I want one. Like,
all right, so let's get rid of the car.
Okay.
What's that big one thing?
private jet.
Private jet.
I want a private jet. To me, like, a
I like
car is
it.
next level too. And if I get a car, it's either gonna be a Lambo or a Tesla Roadster, one of the two. That's only because those are like the two most, I don't know, so what people say. So I go with it.
Well, good choices.
Yeah.
Both of those I like.
And then a private jet for sure. I can see taking my family on there, going wherever. That's good. That's a cool thing. You got a jet. That's next level. So.
That is some next level. Some words of wisdom you want to give some young entrepreneur. A lot of people that follow me, they're either into real estate, they're an entrepreneur, and not everybody's young, by the way. I have a lot of people that watch this channel that have gone the very traditional route in life. Went to school, got a good degree, or got a good corporate job, has been working their way up the corporate ladder their whole lives, and they've reached a point where they realized that they're nowhere near what they want to become in life, and they're looking at the rest of their time, and they're worried that they're going to be 85 or 90 years old looking back with regrets. And so they're really taking ownership of their current situation, and they're saying, if I stay on my current path, I'm not going to get to where I want to be, so I need a massive shakeup. And that's normally when they come into my world. For me, I'm so passionate about real estate because of what it's done for me and my family. I know it's a proven asset class that produces a lot of very wealthy people. And it's something that you can get started and get involved with very little resources, right?
No question, yeah.
So, and we got to get you flipping houses, by the way.
That's what you said.
I'm
Right,
gonna
we'll
take
talk
you
about
out. We're gonna go.
We'll talk
We're gonna
about it.
go flip some houses one day. But what would be like some powerful advice that you would give somebody watching this right now? Because like you shared a lot of really cool things. But if you can give them like that one nugget of wisdom, what would it be?
It's funny because I still, I'm 17 and people ask me, what's your number one advice? And first of all, it humbles me that people even want to know that. And honestly, if I would say, out of everything that I've accumulated, I'll keep it very simple. And that's get clear with what you're optimizing for. One of the things I found, because I talk to a lot of people, and I'm very observant. I want to know, what is it that makes some people get here and others not go anywhere? What's the deciding factor? And one thing I found is all successful people know where exactly it is that they're going, or at least have a vision of where it is that they're going. So for me, it would be, what are you optimizing for in life? What is your dream life look like? And one of the things to get clear with that is, my dad always taught me 4 simple areas, and that's physical, financial, relational, and spiritual. You can ask yourself, where do you want to be physically, financially, relationally, and spiritually? Go through those 4 categories. Get clear with what you're optimizing for. And every single day, wake up with that intention of what you're optimizing for. And once again, I know this sounds like a cliche thing, but what I always tell people is I'm not here to tell you something you don't know. I'm here to get you to act upon what you already do know. Everyone knows these things. Cliches are cliches for a reason. If you take a cliche deeper, you take the surface level stuff deeper, you're going to find that some of the most powerful concepts right there. So number 1 would be, what are you optimizing for? Like, what do you want in your life? What are you living on this planet for? And it baffles me how many people don't know that. If you can just get clear with that one thing, because I can sit here and try to tell people advice, but quite honestly, everybody's advice is different depending on what they're doing. If you're optimizing to currently make money and flip houses, you continue to follow Cody. Like, there's nothing I can say over this next minute that's going to change your life any more than that. So, like, get clear with what you're optimizing for. Become obsessed with that end result, and then everything else will fall in place. Boomer.
Boomer's happy. I'm happy. Hopefully you guys are happy. Let me ask you guys something. What is your number 1 takeaway from everything that we talked about here today? Down in the comment section down below, let us know exactly what your number 1 takeaway is, and let's get intentional. What are you going to optimize for immediately after you stop watching this video? I'd love to share, like when you speak things into existence or you write them into existence, I mean, you're committing at that moment to making it happen. And so leave a comment down below. Don't forget to smash like in this video if you got something from it. Share it with a friend. I guarantee that there's somebody out there right now that needs to hear this powerful message. Leave a comment down below. Don't forget to smash like in this video if you got something from it. Share it with a friend. I guarantee that there's somebody out there right now that needs to hear this powerful message. And make sure you go check out Caleb Maddix. Where can people follow you?
Honestly, I can tell you to follow me. The number 1 thing I'm pushing right now is Apex for Kids. So I'd say definitely check out. I did the exact same thing. Check out Apex for Kids.
You know what we're gonna do?
Go for it.
Give me a link.
I got
and
you.
I'll put a link
below.
down below as well. So that way, if you guys are interested, and if you have kids, I'm putting Hudson through it. Hudson, come over here real quick.
Let's go,
He's
Hudson.
been dying to get in this video. This is real fast.
Yes.
He made it.
Okay.
All right.
What's up, bro?
You don't get a speaking gig in this. You just kind of hang out. All right, ready? All right, so I'm going to put Hudson through Apex for Kids.
Okay.
And I know you're excited about it. We've been watching videos.
I know, I'm interested in this Apex. I like it.
Yeah, well.
This dude's a natural. It took me so long to get as good as this. I'm not even as good as him now, man.
And, I'm excited to see how he feels as he goes through it. We're going to give you some, obviously honest feedback. But if you have kids right now, one of the most powerful things that you can ever do for them is set them up for success by giving them that unshakable confidence and giving them the tools to succeed. So down below, we'll put that link. And is it just Caleb Maddix on all social media platforms?
Caleb Maddix on all social media. That's right.
Boom. And I don't have anything else. Appreciate you being here, dude. Welcome back to Casa de la Sperber anytime.
Let's go. Oh, all right. Break it down. We're
just gonna end. Show us your. We'll end on this. Show us your. What is that one dance you do?
He's got the beatbox. All right. That's a good way to end it. Good stuff.
All right. Thank you guys. Till next time. Take care.
Call me here. Caleb Maddix, Cody Sperber. Obviously, Hudson Sperber is the best. Take care. Call me here. Signing out.
Oh, hey, didn't see you there. Hey, listen, while you're here, why don't you click the tab in the upper right-hand corner and grab my new book, How to Flip Houses with Little No Money Down. It's a step-by-step guide on how I got wealthy in real estate and how you can too. Hope it helps. Oh, don't forget to watch the 2 videos also.